Welcome to Lifestyle Med with Dr. Jade. Health, it's a lifestyle. Hey family, and welcome back to my channel. This is Lifestyle Med with Dr. Jade, and today's topic we're going to be talking about intermittent fasting. Such a popular topic among my patients, in my clinic, in the news, in the media, everywhere I look, people are talking about intermittent fasting. So today we're going to be addressing what is intermittent fasting, how does it work, why does it work, is it healthy to do, is it a good method for you to try? I'll be answering all that and more, so stay tuned. And the truth is, there are ways to do intermittent fasting that are helpful, and then there's ways to do it that are not as helpful. So in today's video, I'm gonna be giving you my top 5 tips for successful intermittent fasting. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Dr. Jade. This is Lifestyle Med with Dr. Jade. And on my channel, I'll be talking about fitness, nutrition, and primary care hot topics. So if these are topics that are of interest to you, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell so you never miss a video. All right, let's get into it. But first, what is intermittent fasting? So intermittent fasting doesn't necessarily look at what you eat, but it really looks at when you eat. It's a lifestyle tool. I like to call it that instead of a diet method. It's a lifestyle tool that you can use when wanting to look at weight loss, but also in lowering your blood sugar and lowering your cholesterol levels. It really is a lifestyle tool you can use for your overall health improvement. The best part about intermittent fasting as a lifestyle health improvement tool is that it's free and it can be sustainable over long periods of time. And I'll tell you how to do that in my top 5 tips on how to do this in a healthy and maintainable way and a successful way. And so that's the best part, is that intermittent fasting is free. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to, it's not a pill or a potion that we're selling. This is a free method. It is an effective method, and it has been proven both in research and in my own experience with patients and friends and family and myself that this is an effective tool for a lifestyle change when it comes to your health, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, blood sugar improvement. I mean, it goes on and on, you guys. I'm going to tell you the top 5 ways now that will help you to set up to successfully intermittent fast. Tip number 5, stop eating late. All you do when you want to start intermittent fasting is you pick a time at least 2 to 3 hours before you plan to go to bed. Even more hours than that is better, but at least a minimum of 2 hours before bed, you stop eating before that time. So if you plan to go to bed at 9 p.m., you stop eating at 7 p.m. If you plan to go to bed at 9 p.m., even better, you stop eating at 6 p.m. So tip number 5 to successful intermittent fasting, first step is you stop eating late. You pick a time that you cut off your eating in the evenings. Tip number 4, you stop snacking. Now, I know this can be a bit of a challenge to wrap our minds around for some of us because we've been, programmed in America to think that we need 3 meals and we need snacks in between. And we've also heard about eating small portions all throughout the day or healthy snacks all throughout the day. But with intermittent fasting, you're giving your body a break from eating, okay? And when you do that, your body starts to break down the fat that is stored. But if you're constantly feeding yourself and constantly eating, then your body never has a chance to start becoming a fat burning machine and breaking down the food that's already stored. So stop snacking. We're gonna go for meals only with intermittent fasting. Tip number 3 for successful intermittent fasting, skip breakfast. Now hold on, don't click off the video if you're a huge breakfast lover. I get it, I know. Another alternative to this is pushing back your breakfast time. So we're trained in America, again, to when we wake up to want to eat a full meal right away. But really, we don't need to break that fast right away. And most of the time, that's a trained behavior, not necessarily our body genuinely being hungry. In the morning when you wake up, it's totally okay to just have a full glass of water, your coffee without all the sugar or the cream, or your tea without all the sugar, just something to really start to hydrate the body, a non-calorie producing drink that hydrates you. That's really what your body wants and desires when you first wake up, is hydration. But as far as food, try pushing that time that you start eating your breakfast back a couple of hours before you eat. So skipping breakfast or not eating breakfast or just pushing breakfast back, later in the day is the other step to successfully intermittent fasting, is to either skip or push back breakfast. Basically, when you wake up, give yourself a few hours before you start consuming food. And we'll get to that in the next tip on how you actually do that. Tip number 2 is to pick an eating window that works for your lifestyle. Okay, so this is where I'll talk about the different types of intermittent fasting, or some of the major types, because there's lots of different types, and how you really implement this into your life. So first, we have one of the most common methods of intermittent fasting, which is the 8-16. The 16 means the 16 hours of the day that you don't eat out of a 24-hour period, and the 8 is your 8-hour eating window. And when you look at this eating window, you want to make it work for your lifestyle. So using tips number 5 and 4 and 3, we first want to figure out a time that allows us to push the first meal of the day back a few hours, and then also pick a time that stops eating, our cutoff time, at least that 2 to 3 hours before going to bed. So for example, if I wake up at 6 a.m. and I'm doing the 8-16, say I have my first meal of the day at 11 a.m., okay? And so if I push my first meal of the day, be it a late breakfast or an early lunch at 11 a.m., and then my cutoff window would be that I would stop eating at 7 p.m. So that would give me 8 hours where I am able to eat during the day. At 7 p.m., I don't eat again until 11 a.m. the next day. That gives me 16 hours of fasting. So that is an example of an 8-16 intermittent fasting window. I hope that makes sense. When you want to start with intermittent fasting, you want to make it a window that's easy to do. You might want to start with a 12-12, a 12-hour window where you're eating 6 to 6, and then 12 hours where you're fasting. And an important part for me to mention is that when you're sleeping, that counts as fasting. So if you get 6 hours of sleep, 7 hours of sleep, 8 hours of sleep, lucky you, at night, then that counts as the fasting part of, the non-eating window. So it's not that you're just not eating for these long periods of time, it's that you're sleeping for the majority of it. And so you're literally just pushing breakfast back and cutting off when you eat in the evenings. Those are the only challenging parts, right? Because when you're sleeping, you're not eating. So that's just a tidbit to remember. So if you've mastered a 16-8 intermittent fasting, and say you want to narrow your window a little more, you're trying to go to the next level in whatever your goal is, be it your blood pressure, your diabetes, your cholesterol improvement, be it your weight loss, whatever your goal is, if you're trying to take it to the next level, you may go to a more advanced type of intermittent fasting window, which would be something like an OMAD. OMAD means 1 meal a day, or a 24, where you're fasting 20 hours a day and you're only eating within a 4-hour window. Now, those are more advanced intermittent fasting methods, and I definitely wouldn't suggest going straight into those, or to do those for long periods of time unless you've talked to your doctor. But you want to pick, again, tip number 2 was to pick a eating window that works for your lifestyle. But with that, also, you want to pick a window that's going to be sustainable for you. You don't want to say, okay, I'm going to do this 16-8 window today, or say you're going to do it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then you're not able to stick with it. You want to pick a time, a fasting window and an eating window that really would work for your lifestyle and to sustain it over longer periods of time, because that's going to get your body to have that ongoing fat burning and weight loss, weight reduction, and improvement of your health overall. And that leads us to tip number 1. So now we have pushed our breakfast back, we've cut off our time that we eat a little bit earlier before we go to bed, and we have only picked meals, not snacks, and we've picked a time frame that works for our lifestyle. but now what exactly are we eating? I know intermittent fasting is primarily about when we eat, but what we eat in addition to when we eat combined takes your intermittent fasting to the next level, your health improvement to the next level. So tip number one is to eat whole food, plant-based diet. I hate to say diet, but a whole food, plant-based nutrition when intermittent fasting. When you do those two things together, you guys, it takes your health to the next level. So those are my top 5 tips on how to use intermittent fasting as a health improvement tool. Again, this is just another tool in your tool belt for an overall healthy lifestyle. Intermittent fasting to be incorporated for long periods of time or short periods of time within your lifestyle is another way to help improve your health. As always, before implementing a new lifestyle tool or lifestyle change like this, you want to talk to your doctor and make sure that it's great for your individual health. If you have extensive diabetes, are on medication for diabetes, if you have a history of eating disorders, if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, these are all types of people that want to talk to their doctor before just jumping into something like intermittent fasting. But again, this is an amazing lifestyle tool to have in your tool belt. It works. It burns fat. It helps you to hone in on those cravings, to get your food consumption under control, and to really use food as fuel instead of just as an addiction. So I hope this was helpful for you. Intermittent fasting, if you have more questions on it, let me know. What more do you want to know about intermittent fasting? What other types of diets are you interested in me talking about and us chatting about? There's so many different diet and lifestyle tool methods out there, but this one, you guys, I really, really love and I believe in. So let me know what questions you have, and I look forward to hearing from you. If you haven't seen my top 10 tips on how to lose weight in a healthy and sustainable way, make sure to catch that video, and I hope to see you next week. Thank you so much for joining. This is Lifestyle Med with Dr. Jade. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video, share it, and I am going to see you next week. Bye.
Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. God bless.